Okay. Straight. How would I describe DAOs? I think probably the best way to describe DAOs is sort of talk a little bit about the world around us as it is today. Something that I think a lot of people don't recognize too often is that the world that we live in today is centralizing around us in ways that we don't necessarily notice but have profound impacts on the way we live. In the 90s, early 2000s, you could be in New York City and you could go outside and you could hail a taxi. You could get in a taxi and you'd ride around and maybe you'd have a disagreement with the taxi driver or falling out and you just get outside of the taxi, walk away, and that would be the end of it. Today, maybe Uber bans you, right? You take an Uber and maybe they ban you. But they don't just ban you in New York City. They ban you on the entire planet Earth. So we've gone from a world where you could get into that taxi, have a disagreement, and then the next day you start fresh, you start new. It's a new taxi driver, it's a new experience, a new thing. But now we live in a world where actually you are no longer allowed to take a taxi-like service anywhere on the planet. And that's a very strange dynamic. That's a really strange change in humans. These, I think, are really good examples for how centralization might affect people in ways that they're not thinking about. But it also exists in the digital realm. It exists for all the technologies that we use. If Google deplatforms you, they deplatform you completely. If you are an Apple user and they deplatform you, they deplatform you completely. You are deplatformed from hardware, you are deplatformed from software. What happens when the compute of the world is centralized? When everything that you need to even be considered a real accessible person in this world is centralized, when the platforms that you rely upon don't have any responsibility towards users themselves, where small numbers of organizations maybe control outsized amounts of your life, your ability to be recognized as a person in our society, when the platforms that you use have no credible neutrality. What if there are even more important things in our lives? Right, documents, the things that you use to track your expenses, your email, family photos. What does that look like when you have no control